What is up, you guys? Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my top 15 favorite classic movies of all time. Now, what is a classic movie exactly? Well, there are a lot of movies that people can consider classic, but what I'm talking about today is any movie that came out before 1970. So, older classic movies, like mostly black and white movies on this list. So basically, 1969 and before is what I will qualify as classic movies for today, and I'm going to be showing you guys my 15 favorites in that category. Make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get into the ranking. Starting things off with an honorable mention, I have Philadelphia Story. I like this movie for what it is. There definitely are some funny moments, and who doesn't like Jimmy Stewart and Cary Grant in the same movie? I mean, this has a stacked cast. It's funny for what it is, but I just never thought of it as a top 10 classic movie. It's good. I think a lot of people will like it, but it's not one that I would rewatch. At number 15, I have The Trial. This is a very weird one in multiple ways. The first way is, first of all, this is a very weird movie. There's a lot of random stuff going on, and sometimes the plot is lost. But the acting is very good, and to be honest, it's so weird. It's actually good. Anthony Perkins gives us a really good performance, but the weird thing is, I never recommend this movie to anybody because of how weird it is. I like it because it's weird. I like weird movies for some reason, and it's Orson Welles. I like Orson Welles cinematography, which means I like this movie, but I'd never recommend it to anybody. That's how weird it is. Moving on to number 14, another Orson Welles movie, probably one of his best movies. This is regarded as the greatest movie of all time, Citizen Kane. Is it the greatest movie of all time? No, I don't think it is, but it is definitely up there on the classic movies list. I like it. I think it's overrated, but I still appreciate it, and I like it, and I definitely rewatch it. At number 13, another movie that I think is overrated, but I still like, is Casablanca. Ingrid Bergman, Humphrey Bogart in a really unique but good movie. This movie was definitely ahead of its time, and it's one of the most referenced movies ever. It's it's good. It's overrated, but it's a very solid and good movie. The acting is great. The emotion is there. I just feel like it could be a bit more entertaining and exciting, but overall, it is a very good movie. At number 12, a movie that I just watched recently, The Apartment. This is really like the max emotion you will get out of a classic black and white movie. It came out in 1960 and it's somehow ahead of its time. It's really good. The emotion is insane. The acting is there, and the plot is very compelling and gripping to where like you almost cannot turn this movie off. Like once you're into it, you have to watch it. The ending is very good and satisfying, and overall, this is one of the most emotional black and white movies you'll ever see. I highly recommend it. Moving on to number 11, my favorite Orson Welles movie, Touch of Evil. This kind of started the noir um, genre. It was a thing but when this movie came out, but this really showed how far it could go. The acting is insane. The action is way beyond what they had at the time, and Orson Welles gives a stunning performance. Great acting. It's very thrilling and good. You never expect this from a 1950s movie. I really like it, and the cinematography is on point. Moving on to the top 10, we finally have a Hitchcock movie on this list. Vertigo, one of the best James Stewart movies out there, one of Hitchcock's best, easily top 5 Hitchcock movie. One of the only colored movies on this list, may I add, but this is just a great movie with great acting, and I really can't say anything bad about this movie. That's not what I'm trying to do, but if I was trying to do that, I couldn't think of one thing bad to say about this movie. Like, this is a perfect movie, and it really is one of Hitchcock's best. But there are other movies that I'd rather watch that will be coming up on this list. Number 9, another Hitchcock movie, Shadow of a Doubt. Joseph Cotten gives a stunning performance as a murderer uncle. Insane plot twists left and right, and this story will is so gripping, and you will just be so submerged into the story. It is a great movie and one of Hitchcock's more underrated movies. And it's claimed that Hitchcock said this is his favorite movie that he made. At number 8, this wouldn't be a classic movie list without 12 Angry Men. It takes place in one room and somehow is one of the most thrilling black and white movies ever. I mean, Henry Fonda stars in this movie. It's so good. And the plot is just so unique. And the ending is very good. Considering it takes place in just one room, it really finds a way to entertain us with a lot of really good long takes. Highly recommend. This is a very good movie and one of the best black and white movies out there. At number 7, another Hitchcock movie, Dial M for Murder. One of my favorite Grace Kelly classic movies, and I've seen a couple of movies with her, and she gives a really good performance. This movie, it's kind of like Rope, if you've ever seen Rope. Unfortunately, that barely made the list. That would probably be like honorable mention 2, if I could do that. But anyway, this movie is very good, and it takes place in kind of one area. Lots of really good long takes, and it's just so thrilling and so good, and one of Hitchcock's best movies. The acting is on point, and you really never lose interest. Like, there's always something entertaining every single minute of this movie. At number 6, yes, another Hitchcock movie, Strangers on a Train. Probably one of the most thrilling Hitchcock movies, where this guy, actually named Guy, is literally practically being stalked by this other guy. I forgot his name, but this movie will creep you out. I mean, it's not a scary movie, but it definitely is creepy. And I think this movie should have been called Psycho instead of the other one that we know today. It is so good, and this guy really is a psycho. Moving on, top 5, To Kill a Mockingbird. This is one of the heaviest, like most controversial classic movies. The book was banned, I think, one or two times. And the movie came out, probably Gregory Peck's best performance in his acting career. This movie is so good, and it really explores some heavy topics. And the drama in this movie is on point. I absolutely love this movie. I watched it fairly recently, and I was shocked at how good this movie actually was. And I don't think I will ever get tired of this movie. Like, I will watch this movie infinitely. It's so good. It's just the next 4 movies on this list are just a little bit better. At number 4, one of my favorite Jimmy Stewart movies, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. If you've never seen this movie, you have to go watch it right now. It is a really a perfect movie. It mixes comedy, politics, and drama so well. The emotion is there, and it really shows how dangerous and heated politics can get. It is such a good movie. Jimmy Stewart gives us a stellar performance, and one of my favorite classic movies ever. Frank Capra, great director. This is one of his best movies. Speaking of Frank Capra and Jimmy Stewart, at number 3, It's a Wonderful Life. One of the best Christmas movies ever made, one of my favorite Christmas movies, and one of my favorite movies of all time. The emotion is there, the acting is great. Jimmy Stewart and Donna Reed, you can't ask for better than that during this era. It's so good. It really shows how far a Christmas movie can go as far as emotion and plot. And this episode really could have been this movie really could have been an episode of The Twilight Zone. It really could. That's how good and thrilling it is. At number 2, I bet a lot of you watching this video have actually never seen this movie before. It's called Night of the Hunter, starring Robert Mitchum, who gives one of the best performances I've ever seen in a classic movie. He plays this really just just like psycho villain who is just going around trying to get this money, and all who is left to take him down are these two kids, and they have to go seek help. I won't spoil too much of it, but I watched this movie and I was shocked at how good it is. It's only a 90-minute movie, surprisingly, but it really works and it doesn't feel rushed. It's thrilling, it's exciting, and it really created a new movie genre. But at number one, my favorite classic movie of all time, my favorite Hitchcock movie, and with my favorite actor of all time, Jimmy Stewart in Rear Window, along with Grace Kelly, one of my favorite actresses of all time, give a stellar performance in just a thrilling, gripping movie, Rear Window. This is regarded as one of Hitchcock's best. I think it's his best movie, and it's my favorite Hitchcock movie. Favorite classic movie of all time. Came out in the 50s. It is really good. Just the third colored movie on this list, and it is just an amazing movie. Like, it's perfect, it's thrilling, and even if you rewatch it, it's still going to be just as thrilling. But the first time I watched this, I had no clue what was going to happen. Hitchcock directing at its finest. Please watch this movie if you haven't. You're going to hear a lot of people say that it's overrated. It is not. If anything, it's underrated. This is Hitchcock's best, Jimmy Stewart's best, and one of the best mystery thriller movies of all time. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my top favorite classic movies of all time. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next video.